Welcome to this week's episode where we dig into some of the tech and equipment that I use to train for triathlon and Ironman. And we have another great week of working out. I finally start to lose some weight again, which is hallelujah. So sit back and enjoy this episode and we'll see you soon. I started this journey at 145 kilos with a goal to complete an Ironman and change my life. 12 months of work later, I crossed the finish line in Cairns 2024, 30 kilos lighter and super happy.
But the journey's only half done. We've got another 20 kilos to lose. I'm aiming to get down to 10% body fat and find that elusive six-pack.
On top of that, I'm aiming for a high course finish in the Keltman in Scotland, just to keep things interesting.
I hope you enjoy my journey each week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and get notified of each new episode when it drops. So, tech. So, I guess what I wanted to start this video with is that you don't need all of this stuff if you want to get into doing triathlon and Ironman. It's not, a lot of it's not required. It's just, I love tech stuff. I've got tons of cameras and I like all of the tech gear that comes with this stuff because I love playing with new things and trying stuff out. So please don't take this video as a list of things that you need to have to get into triathlon or Ironman. So that's my disclaimer. Now let's talk about the fun stuff. So I guess the biggest piece of, the most expensive tech that I have is my bikes. And I guess there's not really, again, you don't need to spend the money that I've spent on bikes, but you do get what you pay for to a large degree. So my Trek Madone, which is what I started with way before I got into triathlon, it's my road bike, and then I got my Canyon Speedmax, which is amazing. If you didn't see that video, watch it. It really is a great bike. So that's the most expensive tech that I have, really, because but it is a requirement. You need a bike to be able to do triathlon and Ironman. So, and that's not even as much as you can spend. I could double that money relatively easily. It wouldn't make me much faster, probably maybe not faster at all, but it would be, you can spend, there's no amount, you can, I don't even know, you could spend ridiculous amounts of money. I could spend 10 grand that I spent on my Speedmax on a set of wheels if I wanted to. They wouldn't make me faster, but I could spend the money. So again, don't feel like you have to spend that kind of money. But having said that, the Speedmax is a beautiful bike and very fast. So if you really want to do triathlon a lot and you're going to get the value out of it, then go right ahead. So I do love that bike. The next thing, I guess, it all gets much cheaper after that in terms of how much things actually cost, but probably the Garmin stuff that I use. So a lot of the technical stuff that I have, the tech gear, is really for measuring performance. So because I have a coach and because he needs information about my performance and we need to measure everything from my heart rate to how fast I'm doing things, intervals, all of that kind of stuff, my actual performance, I need that kind of thing. If you're using different metrics, you probably don't need to go as far as I have, but the Garmin gear is really good. Bike computer, let's start with that. I've got the 830 or the 840, I can't remember which one it is now, and it's great for me. There are more expensive versions that you can buy. I find it fine for what I do. I don't even use half the capabilities that it has, but it is a great little computer and connects to my Garmin heart rate monitor really well, and to the power meter on the bike, that kind of stuff. And because I live in the Garmin ecosystem in terms of my heart rate monitor, my watch, and my bike computer, they all connect back to the app on my phone. And through there, everything automatically posts onto Strava, which is really nice, and just makes the process easier. All of the stats that come out of my computers, watch, bike, whatever it is, they all go straight. I export those as GPX files from Strava normally and import those into Training Peaks. So I've sort of got this ecosystem of technology that all feeds back to Fergus and lets him figure out what my next training sessions look like, how I'm advancing, all of that kind of stuff, my performance in general. And that's really the point of most of my tech in terms of computers and monitoring and stuff like that, because that's the point of it, is you want to be able to measure how fast, how easy, how hard, all of those kind of things in a way that gives you really good feedback to pass on to your coach or to yourself if you're not using a coach, because you still need to set yourself benchmarks and understand where things are going and how soon you're getting there. Are you pushing too hard, not hard enough, that kind of thing. And I actually am now, it's taken a long time, but now I can look at my numbers and have a better understanding of what's going on. With Fergus's help and through having a coach, I'm getting a grip on those sort of zone 2, zone 3. How does that feel? If you watch someone like Lionel Sanders, he talks a lot about you can be in the zone, but you need to feel what that feels like how hard are you pushing yourself to understand, so that your effort-based understanding matches your technical numbers, and trying to make sure that you're getting all that stuff lined up. And it sounds really easy, I guess, but it's actually hard to learn how to do those things. So I find that side of the tech stuff really helpful. I did have a Polar heart rate monitor, but it was crap. Dropped out, had all sorts of problems. So once I replaced that with Garmin, now I've got that little Garmin ecosystem. Everything works beautifully. My watch, the Forerunner 965, is great. It would be better if I wasn't half blind when it came to reading it. But I love that you can do intervals on it. It's great in the pool. I can just, swim and it collects all the data about my different sections and speed and all of that sort of stuff. And running, again, connects to my heart rate monitor really easily, and it's great. I can set it to do all kinds of different things if I want, like reminding me every 20 minutes to fuel and hydrate, all of that kind of, and again, with my watch, like my bike computer, I'm still only using probably 10% of its capabilities. I've finally figured out how to use the interval stuff on the watch really well now, and I can do all of my Monday afternoon intervals. And again, it's nice and simple. I don't need stopwatches or anything like that. I'm just pressing buttons as I run, and it's calculating things and doing all the work for me, which is great. So those are the three main things that I use in terms of technology: my Garmin bike computer, the heart rate monitor, and my Garmin watch. I do have an Apple Watch, which I wear, when I'm not wearing my Garmin, when I'm doing an exercise routine, mostly because it integrates with my Apple ecosystem really well, and collecting things like steps and stuff like that, it's just as easy on the Apple Watch. My bike trainer is a Wahoo Kicker, just the base model that I use currently. And I have thought about getting the Zwift bike or a Wahoo bike to have on there all the time, rather than putting my bikes off and on the trainer. But in all honesty, it doesn't really make much difference to me. I like, now that I've got my new bike and using that on the trainer, it's really good to get that extra time under your belt in those positions, getting used to the bike, all of that kind of stuff. So I think I may end up just staying with the straight Wahoo Kicker. I I know there's better models you can get, but it seems to do a great job. Integrates with Zwift really well, which is another piece of technology that I use. And I spend at least one session a week on Zwift, and I really enjoy those indoor rides. The one I did this morning was horrifically difficult, and they always are. They always leave me struggling at the end, and that's the point, that they're meant to push you. I gained so much extra power from getting indoors on a bike trainer. It's hard to even comprehend how much better I am on the bike now because of that training indoors. And so the Wahoo Kicker and the Zwift subscription are great, and I will no doubt use them more and more as summer comes along, because there'll become a time when it's hard to ride outside, and I'll do more riding inside. But great pieces of technology, not expensive, and really, really effective. A lot of bang for your buck on those ones. So we've been through Training Peaks before. That's not really my piece of technology. That's what Fergus uses for training, managing my training program. It is a great piece of tech, I guess, just for tracking things. And again, I don't have a membership for that. I just use the free version. Fergus has his set up on the other end of it as a coach. But I'm led to believe that it can do a lot of extra stuff if you do get a membership with it, but I haven't needed it. Now, another piece of kit that I use is my Whoop. Now, when I bought my Whoop, which is this little band that's charging currently, I kind of thought that it might have been one of those, gimmicky kind of things that people, influencers push on people, but you don't really get anything useful out of it. I couldn't have been more wrong. It probably was a little bit at the start, because it takes a little bit of time of wearing it and getting used to understanding what it can do before you start to get much out of it. So you need to give yourself probably a month of using it before you really start to understand what it's doing, and before it collects enough data to start really giving you super useful feedback. So the biggest thing that I find with Whoop is it doesn't do anything fancy. It just sits on your wrists and collects information. However, it really made me more aware of what is going on. So things that I weren't really across previously is my rest and recuperation, so my recovery. Things like how much sleep I was getting. Was I getting deep sleep? Was it good quality sleep? Was I recovering well? Things that you think about, but you don't have a metric to help you track it, so you don't really put as much effort into it as what you should. And I think Whoop really helped me to focus in on, yes, this is how much sleep I had last night. I'm operating at this level, and I've got a sleep deficit that I need to fix. Focusing on those things and really drilling into those recovery details was just made it more foremost in my mind, made me think about it more, made me put it ahead of other things that I had been focused. It's easy to just focus on your workout and what you're eating, and then forget that the biggest impact that you'll have in terms of your training is your recovery and recuperation. So Whoop really helped me to focus on that and make sure that I was thinking about those factors. The other thing that it lets you do is to track things that you do daily, like having positive thoughts, what supplements you're having, how many calories you consume that day, a whole range of things. Were you sick? Was anything happening? And you can change these so that you're tracking things that are pertinent to you. And so again, it's putting those things into your head every day to make sure that you think, oh yeah, have I done that? Did I do that? Has that been done? I think as a tool for making you live in the present and thinking about what am I doing today to make sure that I perform as well as I can, it's a great tool. And I really was surprised at how useful it became to me. And now, I don't know, it would be weird to not have it now. So in answer to someone's question, my Whoop is probably my favorite piece of tech. Someone asked me, what is your favorite piece of tech? And I probably wouldn't have, other than my bikes, I love my bikes. I probably wouldn't have said my Whoop, in 12 months ago, because I didn't have it and I didn't even know what it did. And it's not fancy, it doesn't do anything particularly fancy, but I find that in terms of focusing myself and being present in knowing what I need to do, the Whoop is really handy. And I think value-wise, it's a really valuable tool for that purpose. So hopefully that helps people understand some of the technology that I use. I haven't gone into things like my runners and stuff like that. There are so many good runners out there. I'm an ASICS user. I use the Keanos, I'm not sure which ones I've got at the moment, but they're all very similar. I'm not going to go into the clothes I wear. Again, all pretty basic stuff, nothing fancy. I don't even wear any particular fancy cycling stuff. So I find that they all do the job for the most part. Thanks for watching this episode. If you liked it, make sure you give us a big thumbs up and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get told every time a new episode drops. Next week, we will be following me pretty much for a week of workouts. Just going to go through all of the stuff that I do. Normally I kind of give you a summary view of what goes on, but next week we're going to follow the entire pattern for a week so you can see from day to day what it is that I do and how we're training for Ironman at the moment. Thanks very much for watching, and don't forget to take the next ride.